Good evening, everyone, and I hope you're having a great festive season. Of course, it's a rather different festive season to 2019, what with 2020 being, well, 2020, and I'm hoping that you're all safe and sound. One thing that I've been doing over the last couple of months is certainly enjoying my series and movies a lot more than I used to, and probably certain other things a bit more than I used to too. And I've just finished recently watching The Mandalorian Season 2. Now, I don't know if you've watched any of my other videos regarding Season 1, but you would know that I was a little bit disappointed with Season 1. Sure, the characters looked great, the CGI for the most part was brilliant, but I was a bit sort of disappointed in the lacking of character development and, well, plot. Every episode seemed to be a fetch quest, some of them only lasting 22 minutes. Quite frankly, it was the last episode of Season 1 that I really thoroughly enjoyed it. To me, it felt like they got their teeth into the idea of what they were doing. And Season 2, to a certain degree, certainly carried on that. Anyway, I'm going to have a quick sip of this and I'll let you know why I thought Season 2 was very good. Now, just to bear in mind that I'm being very festive right now, this beer over here is a cinnamon, vanilla, nutmeg and rice pudding imperial stout. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. It's also 10.4% and very strong and very tasty. Anyway, enough of that plug there. Season 2 of The Mandalorian landed and I was a bit sort of reluctant to get into it because I was a bit disappointed, as I mentioned, in Season 1. But Season 2 kind of surprised me. Not only were the episodes a lot longer this time, we're looking at sort of between 35 and 45 minutes, which allows you to sort of get character movement and momentum in the story. Season 1 was choppy. It had certain episodes that were 22 minutes long, others that were 30, and others that were like 45 minutes, you know, a normal episode length. So Season 2 seemed to get this right. I thought the length was appropriate to the majority of the episodes, and I thought the movement, as far as the story itself, was a lot better. It was certainly treated a lot better. Once again, though, the majority of this is fetch quest missions. It's literally the Mandalorian going to a planet saying, "Can you help me?" They say, "I don't want to help you." He says, "Ha," and they go, "Cool, I'll help you if you do this. Go kill this creature. Go do that." Again, one or two episodes were very reminiscent of Season 1. Literally going into a cave and killing a monster in, I think it was episode 3 or 4. But the scale is certainly better than Season 1. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. They threw a lot more characters at you in this. You have bounty hunters left, right, and center, Boba Fett, Ahsoka, and all these other people. Ahsoka, sorry, Trev. And yeah, I think that it was better because of it. Having a large mix of people certainly made it more entertaining. And because the Mandalorian himself, played by Pedro Pascal, he doesn't say much at all, to be honest with you. Most of the time it's just one lines, one sentences, and we look at the baby Yoda, or the child, which is apparently called Grogu. We find out its name. This will have some spoilers in, by the way, and it will have a major spoiler towards the, well, it will have a major spoiler about the last episode of Season 2, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers about this, run away. So yeah, like I say, this had a lot more characters in it, which offset the mute, monosyllabic Mandalorian himself, and I like that. It worked well for somebody who is not a massive Star Wars fan. Now, I enjoyed the movies, the most recent ones, but look, I looked at Star Wars as something that was dumb fun. It certainly isn't science fiction, it certainly isn't fantasy, it's a bit of a mixture of space knights kind of story. And that's why I enjoyed it, because it was just fun silliness. And like I say, I reset my expectations of Season 2. I think that's why I enjoyed it a lot more as well. So I think people who do enjoy Star Wars a lot more, like my friends Curve and Trevor and stuff, people who read the comics and have watched the cartoons will enjoy us a lot more. You know, coming into this, I think as someone who doesn't know Star Wars, I think you would really need to take a pinch of salt when you're watching it, because you're not going to know a lot of what's going on. Half of the references, no, I lied, 90% of the references went right over my head, and there are a lot of references. That is one of the negatives about this. It felt like I was being pummeled with references to Star Wars that I didn't understand. The universe, of course, is massive and has billions of denizens in it. And so a lot of these characters apparently are from the past, like Ahsoka, for example. She's Trevor's favourite, my friend Trevor's favourite character. She gets to, you know, sort of pop her head up in this. She's going to get her own sideshow. Another character called Boba Fett, he also is going to get his own sideshow. And then, what was the other one? Rangers of the New Republic. So there's 3 new offshoots coming from this. So yeah, Season 2 came to an end now. We get to say, I don't know, maybe we're saying goodbye to the child. He seems to be maybe a bit of a closure over here towards the end, because he does get handed off to none other than, this is the massive spoiler, Luke Skywalker, which I know that a lot of people freaked out about. It was trending all over the place on Instagram, Twitter, etc., etc. And while I do think it was great, although the CGI was a bit suspect, I mean, it's very difficult to replicate a person's face, and literally having Luke Skywalker appear, I think is what, just after Return of the Jedi? with his hand and his green saber. You're not going to pull that off 100%, but I think they did very well with it. I just didn't think it was good as far as the narrative for the characters of Mandalorian. You have these people coming and going throughout the entire series, and suddenly all the work and the stuff that they've done is literally overwritten by Luke appearing and literally wiping people out left, right, and center like this, omnipotent god. So I kind of felt like it took a lot of agency away from the Mandalorian. He deserved to win. He deserved to get that yes, and not Luke, because he literally just arrives, grabs a baby, bye. And I felt that was a bit of a letdown. I know a lot of people obviously don't agree with me because they were very happy to see Luke, and there were literally sounds of splooshing going around the internet in certain areas like Coven, for example. But yeah, I felt it did take away from the main characters. Another appearance that I thought was great, this is Bill Burr. He's a comedian. He was in season 1 as well. He gets basically arrested and thrown onto a planet. They get him and they go on this mission, again, fetch quest. This time it's to fetch data. And this was one of the better episodes I found, because you actually got character development. You learned from his point of view what he thought of the world. He literally was telling the Mandalorian that maybe, they're not the bad guys. If you wake up in their situation, you're going to think you're the good guy. And that was the first time that they actually had exposition into the actual motivations and feelings of the character. You certainly don't really get much of the Mandalorian. A couple of flashback scenes you do get to learn his background. But yeah, he doesn't exactly sit there and wax lyrical about how he's feeling today. So I thought that was really refreshing. I thought that was really well done. There is the reappearance of Gina Carano's character, who is like this sort of mercenary. And this was a very tricky one for me, because it came out that Gina Carano is a massive Trump fan. And I know that her character in season 1 was loved by a lot of people. A lot of people in season 2 turned on her, and I don't really blame them, to be honest with you. She is somebody who is denying that COVID exists. She thinks it's a hoax. At least that's why she's been retweeting and posting pictures up on Twitter and stuff. She says that the elections were rigged, which is bullshit, because there's no evidence of that. She's a massive, as I mentioned, Trump supporter. She's telling people to go on to, Parler. She says that is a free space. It's a free space full of Nazis and racists, my dear. So yeah, it was very difficult for me to watch a scene with her where she's playing a character who's fighting against the Empire, but in the real world, she's quite literally promoting and sponsoring and championing Trump, who stands for the Empire. So I was a bit upset about that, and I'm not sure whether she'll be returning for season 3. A lot of people say you should leave politics out of the domain of acting and stuff. Well, if that's the case, then why would James Gunn be kicked to the curb for making jokes? Okay, he literally made horrible jokes, not going to lie, 12, 13 years ago. And remember, Disney fired him after Guardians of the Galaxy 2. He's been brought back now, probably because of cha-ching, moolah. But I think, quite frankly, you can't kill someone's career because of jokes, even though they were poor, and he was not in the public eye then. But to be an actress who is, promoting something like this when you are a figurehead, when you are looked up to by children, it's kind of what happened with, I forget the actress's name. She played Black Panther's sister, who was also doing the similar thing, and she looks like she's going to be cancelled. This is what the cancel culture is all about. But nonetheless, even with this whole controversy going on, I think everybody else did a damn good job. They were all amicably acting and stuff like that. I must admit that little bastard green thing, Grogu, did warm up to me this time. I thought they did quite a good job. There was one episode, though, where they went too far with him, to be honest. I forget what it was called. It was like The Hunt or something. No, the Passenger, where this woman has a jar of eggs, like her babies, and they're the last of her kind in the universe. And all this damn thing does is eat them. It wasn't really funny. It was very dark and sinister. I found it very difficult to laugh and chuckle when the thing's literally putting his hand into this thing and eating these babies. And I was like, Jesus, this is quite horrific. We've got Dark Crystal level here. But anyway, like I say, I did actually enjoy this season. I think the last episode was a little bit shoehorned in there, like I say, with Luke. I would give this definitely a 7.5 out of 10. Season 1, I would give a 7 out of 10. And it's a good show for 2020. It's a show that'll make you forget about all the shit that's going on in the real world and just sort of suspend that disbelief for a little bit. And yeah, I look forward to the new Mandalorian. I'm not so certain about all these other characters and spin-offs because I don't know anything about them. But hey, maybe I'll watch those and also enjoy them. Catch you guys later.